again. Well,
Let me see. Let
I
me
didn't
make
know I had to
sure.
hit go live because it said in 3 minutes. I
Yeah,
was like,
there we
what?
go. There we go. Yeah.
Hey, you
Now we
guys.
on. Now we
Come
in.
on in.
Now we in
Well,
there.
we're in here. We'll go ahead and do this again. Welcome again, YouTubers.
Welcome again. We did a full-on intro to
We did a full 6
ourselves.
minutes. We did a full 6 minutes. Let's do this again. So, hello,
Yeah.
world. Hi,
What up?
YouTube.
What up? What
Hi,
up?
lovers. Welcome to the Way Love Goes
Yes.
podcast.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
am your girl,
Yeah.
Tierra Monique, and then we are here. I'm joined by my bro from another Mo on the West
Yes, we got to
Coast.
check to get it right. Dondeez, what's up, everybody?
Hey, y'all. Hey,
Stay
y'all.
hydrated.
Thank y'all for coming.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we're talking about should I stay or should I go? As you can see,
Mm.
so we're not late for those who are coming in saying, "Oh, y'all late." No, we're kind of not like late. I just forgot to hit the go live button, and
Yeah.
so this is my
We
first
been
time.
popping. We've been
Yeah, we've
popping.
been
We
popping for
just
6, 7 minutes.
we invited y'all in here to join the show.
Yeah, we invited y'all in. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about should I stay or should I go? There's a lot of things going on in the relationship world, going out here in the news and the media, and we're gonna go ahead and jump on the bandwagon and talk about everything that's going on, and give y'all some tips about staying or going and all that good stuff. So,
Yeah, man, because
um,
we don't want you to be like them, right?
right,
You gonna be
yeah,
prepared. You gonna like do it
exactly,
well. If you have to
exactly,
do it, you might not even have to do it. We'll
right.
see.
Yeah, we'll see. So we'll do a quick check-in again. So D, you said that you was losing weight. Your wife,
Yeah, man. My wife said I was losing weight. That's the key to it, right?
right,
Because let me
exactly.
just hit a background on my wife. She's not impressed by anything ever.
Okay.
Like if she says a movie's good, then I
Uh-huh.
probably think it's phenomenal. If she's like, "Oh, that was pretty good," I'll probably be like, "Yo, that movie melted my mind."
Right. Right.
So anything that she says is good, it's
Mm-hmm.
like amplified. So yeah. So I'm happy about that. She
Right.
noticed that I lost some weight.
Right. Right. So yeah,
Hmm.
so that's good. That's really good. That's really good, really good. Me, I went to therapy yesterday, and I told the therapist that um I said, I'm sorry, I'm talking too much to my therapist. I was like, that's just
Yeah.
me. People right there. Sign for her that, oh, she's a people pleaser. Like she's trying to make sure that the other person is comfortable instead of worrying about my own comfortability. So
Mm.
yes, and she said something that was really good. She was like, oh no, it's okay. She said it's good for you to talk through the process instead of trying to
Hmm.
process without talking. And I was
Ooh, that's a
like,
bar. That's a
you just
bar.
said something. And she was like, oh, I don't even know what I said. I said, that's a whole quote.
That is a
That's a
whole
whole
quote.
quote. She said it's good to talk the process instead of trying to process it without talking. How good is that? Because then you're not in touch with your feel. You're not really getting in touch deep, when you're trying to process it without talking. Because that means you're gonna have to talk to someone else about
Yeah.
it. So that was good. So
You have to work
I
it
am gonna
out.
go back. I'm gonna go back to
Nice.
therapy. I cried a lot.
You talk about
I
Ted
cried a
Lasso?
lot. I was crying a lot. I was crying a lot. So yeah. Today, Sean.
What
I
up,
got you invited up.
Sean?
There you go. Thank you. Yeah. So I definitely recommend therapy. I'm not going back next week because she was like, oh, it'd be good for you to come weekly, but my
Mm.
insurance don't cover
The way
100%.
my
So
insurance be set up. Hmm.
my insurance be set up, I'm gonna have to do it like every other week. So yeah, but
Mm.
yeah, I think that I'm on the right path. I recognize that I need to start choosing me and
Hmm.
stop trying to choose other people first over me. And she said that as a caregiver, because I am a caregiver, um,
Hmm.
that caregivers we are always focused on trying to make sure the other person is okay and okay well, and we're not
Mm.
focused on making sure that we're okay as well. So Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, I do have one other thing.
Uh-huh.
I'm rocking some what is this? Breast cancer awareness before the
Yes.
month
Yes.
is up. You know, I got my
Yes.
breast cancer awareness. Can you
Mm-hmm.
see it? I don't know. Yeah,
I
courage.
see
It
it.
says courage and strength. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so we supporting all those out there that either have been touched by it or know somebody who is
Right.
going through that situation. Cancers are terrible all around, but this month is breast cancer
Exactly.
awareness. So you know,
Yes.
gotta gotta gotta
Yes. Yes.
gotta
Yes.
gotta send the prayers out for
Yes.
that.
You gotta support the Tatas. They have shirts out there. The breast cancer groups, they have shirts that say support the Tatas.
Support the
So
Tatas, y'all.
what Tatas? Men and women. Don't forget,
Right.
men, you can get breast cancer too. So you need to get your mammograms too, or however they do men. I think they do it by ultrasound because you don't unless your boob is hanging like a watermelon, you're not gonna be able to
Yeah.
put your inside the love.
Yeah. We got.
But
They do have a check though. Like they
yeah,
have
yeah,
a instructions for the guys to
yeah.
check.
Yeah. So if you
So if you
notice
feel
any
any
extra
lumps or
lump,
nothing,
yeah, do that.
if you feel
Yeah.
them
So yeah.
lumps,
So yeah, yeah. I've gone and got a mammogram, so I know that you have to pick your
you
girls
gotta
up and put them
you
in
gotta.
there. And it's like
I feel
they
like
just you wouldn't
yeah,
be able to do that. B. You wouldn't. It ain't. You ain't. Your tatas
yeah.
ain't. Your tatas
They're
ain't
not down
tatai.
like that. Yeah, yeah. They're too flat. They're too flat.
They're not doing it. Yeah. Yeah. All
Main
right. So
Totten.
let's go ahead and get into this episode today. Uh, you have a lot of good information. What is that noise?
Yeah, man. So we about to do this. Like, all right. So let's do a little framing. Just a short list of the celebs be breaking up. Right? We was talking about marriage be hard. Celebs be breaking up. Okay. I didn't even know about this, but singer
Yeah.
Miguel
Yeah, they do.
and his wife they breaking up.
Yeah.
Tia Mowry,
Yeah.
Corey Hardrick, they
Yep.
breaking up. Nia Long is out here focusing on
Yep.
her
Yep.
children. Uh, Tom
Yes.
Brady, Giselle, they both hiring
Yep.
lawyers. They splitting up assets and they just getting down on the financials. And I don't even know
Right.
what the other list of it. But you know what's this thing? I remember this being when I was a young kid, that celebrities and Hollywood folks like they change quick. They change like Diana Ross outfits. Their situations just be back and forth. Like they you know. So it's like they act like life is like high school. You know how you jump in and out of relationships in high school all the time. I remember
Right.
them being like that. Um, but
Right.
we don't want you to have to. We don't want y'all going through that, man. Um, so we kind of I thought it would be good
No,
if
we don't.
our discussion kind of if we broke it down like first there's making the decision, right? Should you stay or should you go? Title of
Right.
the show, right?
Right.
And then
Mm-hmm.
once you have made the decision, um, you know, once you kind of go through that process, then there's the next process, which is breaking up. That itself is a process. And apparently, out here on this
Right.
internet, they feel like there's a right way to do it. So you got that. And then I wanted to
Right.
add in just to round it out after the breakup, when you go through the whole process and now you're broken up, how do you know what are some good suggestions on how to operate, how to live there? So that's kind of how I want to go through it, and then of course we sprinkle in our own experiences and stuff. There were so many things in here that I was like, yep, I've experienced that. That has definitely been
Right.
one of the areas. So the first question I have, and in the comments, y'all please feel free to answer these questions as well. I know you're going to, but you know, just do your thing. So the first question that I kind of wanted to look at with this in terms of like making the decision, what factors play into a decision to either stay or leave a relationship. There's an article, but before the article, why don't you give just off the dome for you?
I think for if you are the person in the relationship who is dependent, financially dependent on the other person, I
Ooh.
think you are thinking, should I stay or should I go? Because I may not be able to take care of myself financially. Um, so that could delay you leaving. And if
Mm,
you
mm,
and that that could delay you leaving as fast as you would if you had your own stash of cash or your own thing going on. If
mm,
you're in a power couple type of relationship and you're making your money and he's making his money or she's making her money, then
mm.
that may not be a factor of you having to just get up and go. I think another factor that would keep you from not leaving is if you don't want to disappoint other people. So like, if your family or the optics of it all, it's like, oh, what would people think if we got divorced? Or what would people think if we broke up? Because
Mm.
I think so many people, if you get to a point where you recognize that so many people look up to you and they hashtag you relationship goals, you all try to stay
Oh,
longer to make sure you keep that mask on, to stay in. I think the
and
other
that's
thing that
how to
maybe
do the future. Mask
yeah,
off.
yeah,
Mm-mm,
right,
mm-mm.
right. So, but to leave, did you ask me what about leaving? If you decide to
Oh,
leave, I think people
yeah.
deciding to leave is cheating,
Mm,
not happy, not feeling fulfilled, feeling like the relationship is toxic, feeling like you probably should have never gotten married or gotten in a relationship with this person anyway, and you've already stayed way past your expiration date, and
mm.
so you finally got the courage to just go ahead and go, because a lot of people stay because of emotional attachments. There's a thing out here called soul ties and sexual ties
Oh,
and
yes.
all that good stuff. So I think those are things that really kind of play in whether or not people stay or leave.
Okay, the soul ties thing. So I didn't grow up knowing about the soul ties thing. I didn't hear about that until later as an adult.
Mhm.
So, what do you know? What goes into? You know what that is? You know any like insight
Okay,
of,
so
into the soul ties concept?
yeah, so I follow this pastor on YouTube named RC Blakes, and he does this whole thing about soul ties. And
Mm-hmm.
so, what his philosophy on soul ties is that we are spirits in a body, okay?
Okay.
And our souls, which is our mind, our will, and our emotions, can
Mm-hmm.
get attached or tied up to someone if we are around them long enough. Um, so the more investment you are, the more invested you are in a person,
Uh-huh.
whatever that thing is, it makes you coming back. Like a lot of people, it could be sex. Like
Mm-hmm.
this person is not for you. You should not be around them or nothing. But the sex is so good, and it just
Mm-hmm.
keeps you going. Your mind, your will, and your emotions are tied to them because of the sex. So you have this soul tie. And then sometimes it could be an emotional soul tie. You created this
Mm-hmm.
bond. Some people get together, they call it trauma bonds, where you are going through a trauma
Oh.
and I'm going through
Mm-hmm.
a trauma, and our traumas are similar. So we bond together because we have this thing in common. So now we have this soul tie because of this trauma bond. So our mind,
Mm.
our will, and our emotions are together because of that emotional tie. So that is where soul ties happen, and it's harder for you to leave than it is for if you didn't never create that. So it's like
Got you.
recognizing I want to leave, but why can't I leave? Like I can if you can physically get up and leave
Okay.
a really toxic relationship, you're
What
financially
is
stable,
pulling you there? Yeah.
right? You have the means to leave. Why aren't you leaving? And so that is what they say is a soul tie.
Ah, okay. I was okay. So that's different because I was thinking it was something along the lines of soulmate, but this is like you kind of like messing with your soul, connecting it in a way
Right.
that wasn't necessarily directed.
Right.
It's like it's like a fly on that fly paper. It's like, dang, I want to get out of here.
Right.
I'm trying to go, but I can't. I'm just stuck.
Exactly.
Get me out.
In a
I
web.
can't.
In a
Yeah,
web
I'm
of
caught in a web.
toxicity.
A web of
Caught in a web.
toxicity. Oh man, soul ties is worse than I thought. Good lord.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, constantly
Yeah.
lying. Sean said, you right.
Yeah.
You right.
Yeah.
Wait, bro.
Carol. Hi, Carol.
Oh,
Let me put my glasses on, y'all, because I can't see.
she,
I'm still
yo,
struggling with my
yo.
vision. Okay.
Carol, so when we talk
Um.
about cash, she said she was stashing his cat. Really, girl. Y'all better, yo. Okay, you got to be on your toes with this one. You got to be on your
Yes,
toes with
ma'am.
this lady. Okay, she gonna
Yeah.
keep you sharp.
Mm-hmm.
She gonna keep you sharp. Man, let me give some of these from the article. So I read this article, um, and it's on healthline.com. It says when and how to break up with someone. He's got the tips. So the first thing they talk about is um, you keep breaking up and getting back together. These are some. This is like another one of those. Like, all right, if you see these behaviors, it's time to
Mm-hmm.
consider, right? You can, because like you could drift apart from once, all right, you kind of
Right.
have strains in your connections, but if you are constantly separating and coming back
Mm-hmm.
together, and
Right.
you got to acknowledge like what is the underlying thing going on here. Maybe it's one of them dead gum soul ties,
Right.
and
Yes.
you didn't even know it. You just be sitting there yo-yoing. It's like
Right.
I don't know if you heard that Kendrick Lamar song "Cry Together." Whew,
Uh-huh.
that was about a toxic. You get some time, go Google that song. That's a toxic relationship right
Right.
there.
Right.
But yeah. And people be bonded. Dude, toxicity is like very
Yes.
sticky. That is a
Yes.
sticky something. Another one, another good one, and this one, I think a lot of people do this and don't even recognize it. You are doing all the sacrificing.
Right.
Right? If you find yourself always giving in to your partner and they never reciprocate it, there is a power imbalance, and
Mm-hmm.
that is like a long that is like a what do they call it? A petri dish
Right.
for unhappiness and resentment. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people do that and don't even recognize it because they're just like,
Right.
man, I'm just trying to show. I'm just trying to be caring. I'm just trying to be loving. I'm just trying to show up, for my person, and
Mm-hmm.
don't even realize. Isn't it? There was a movie with Jennifer Aniston called The Breakup, and that was the issue.
My favorite movie. That is my favorite movie.
Okay,
Favorite movie
okay.
of all time. I have the DVD. So whenever,
Dang,
if for whatever reason
DVD.
I have the DVD. So for whatever reason, if I can't watch it through streaming, I have
Mm-hmm.
um I have it on there. What did Carol say? As women, we see things, but we're just waiting to get hit with the bulldozer. I'm so
Good
different than I
Lord.
used to be. Absolutely. I made a comment about this on a YouTube post from somebody else. And I was saying
Mm-hmm.
that usually in relationships, we see it, but we're
We
constantly
being
waiting for
women. Mm-hmm.
in general. So we
Oh, just in general.
see,
Okay,
yeah, in general, we see that we need to leave. We see it. Okay, it's there, but we're waiting for the other person to give us the yes, you can leave me. Like if you're always wondering
yeah.
if the other person
Wow.
like should I do you want like if you're always asking them, well, do you want me to stay? And they're never giving
Yeah.
you a yes or no answer. They're keeping you around for a reason that
Trying to
benefits
yo-yo
them.
you.
Right. They're
Mm-hmm.
keeping you around for a reason that benefits them. And so you know you need to leave, but you want them to give you permission. And you don't have to let anybody give you permission to leave. You already know.
Say it.
Just go. So that's that.
Yes, Carol, you're on the deuces now.
Yeah.
So we need more people on the deuces. Well, the controlled deuces. I say the controlled deuces because some people be just ready to go. What? You don't like my macaroni? Deuces. Okay.
Right, wait.
Okay. Maybe just some hot sauce. It's some hot sauce. Okay, we're good. Just chill
Right.
out. Chill out.
Right.
But another big one is if your values don't align. I mean, like, if
Yeah.
let's say I don't want kids and you can't wait to have 5 kids, this is not going to work.
Right.
And the trouble with some of the, like, something like value alignment, you might actually still love the person. And that's like more tricky, because it's like, do you stay in a relationship where you still have all the feelings for the person, but you know that your long-term goals and their long-term goals are not matching up, right? So just remember this: we're giving, like, if you're noticing these things in your relationship,
Right.
let the wheels start turning. Don't get, what did Carol say? Don't get bulldozed. Don't let the bulldozer just. Oh, wow, I didn't even know this was going on. I can't
And
believe it just happened.
also, I mean, for real, that kind of question is a question you should be asking before you get committed to somebody anyway. Like, that should be a non, like, how many kids do you want to have?
Hello.
Do you even want kids? Because if you both are not having that conversation, then it's like, okay, well, we had 2 kids and your husband or she's happy or he's happy that y'all had a boy and a girl. And you're like, no, I want to have 2 more. And they're like, nope, that's it.
They're like, I'm done. We've replaced ourselves. We're good to go.
Right. You don't want the crazy soap opera type stuff where someone goes to get a vasectomy or their tubes tied on the low without you knowing.
Oh.
I saw that. I saw that on Young and Restless. Watching that with my grandma. She went and got her tubes
Grandma
tied.
stories.
Yeah, she went and got her tubes tied and didn't tell her husband because she didn't want to have any more kids. And
Yikes.
she got her tubes tied, and he kept thinking that, oh, we're not trying. And he set up a whole fertility appointment and a whole mess. So yeah, so you want to do that. So yeah.
And she had to be like, nah, dog, I got my tubes tied.
Right. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. You don't want to have that kind of drama.
Soul ties, tubes tied. What else can be tied? Sheesh. Everybody's tied up. That's true. You could be, emotionally tied up, meaning you're not available to the person anymore. I know, like, one of the other suggestions they had this whole list. Tell me if you think anything on this list is not obvious. So you can't trust them. You've grown apart. You've stopped caring or putting in the effort. You're experiencing physical or emotional abuse. Okay, obviously. You don't. This is the one that I thought was a good honorable mention. You don't like yourself. You in a relationship and you start discovering that you don't like, either you don't like who you've become, or you know who you are, but because of how the other person treats you, you start not liking yourself, or you start thinking negatively about yourself because of that person.
Right. You take on the thoughts and the perception that they have of you, and you take that on yourself. I wrote that down as one of the questions that you should ask yourself. Is this person making me better, or is this person making me worse? That's a question that you should ask when it comes to deciding, should I stay or should I go? Am I becoming a better person, or am I becoming worse? Am I lessening myself, or like coming like a turtle in a shell? I have to, deep down and dim who I am in order for you to make yourself feel like you good. Because a lot of people, you may see that sometimes. It's somebody who, like, they want to shine, and they'll try to demean you, make you feel like you're less than, so that you can always be codependent on them to make you feel good. they're, they must know it because, they have it all together. And, he's telling me that I don't have it together. I just saw that on a movie. I can't think of what it was, but yeah, he was always, making her feel less than herself. And, and she didn't get it. Oh, it's called Bad Sisters. It's a television show. I think it's on Apple, but it's called Bad Sisters. It's a British show or a Europe UK type show, and it's really good. And she was with the man who was like, he was such a narcissist, but he was always making her feel bad. And whenever her sisters would try to get her to do anything or come out or do anything, it's like she always had to check in with him, and she knew that even every time she tried to do something on her own without getting his permission, he would like check her real fast, like, what are you doing? No, there's no way we can do it. And he will always come up with this excuse why she couldn't do it, because it had something to do with him. Well, you know how that's going to make me feel if you do that, or how. What about our family? Your kids are going to be here without you. And it's like, okay, you're going to be here. What do you mean? So it was like, he was always making her feel bad about doing anything that would make her feel good about herself. So you don't want that.
Yeah. Anything that's like some sort of controlling or like keeping you away. Man, I remember my grandfather had got remarried, and his wife kind of did that. She was kind of like the gatekeeper of everything that happened. I was like, yo, I'm calling because I want to say what's up to my grandfather. It's his birthday. Can I holler at him? Hold on. I'm like, it's like you're the person you try to like. I remember because I would, every time I called, he never answered the phone. It was always her.
Right.
I'm like, dang, Nick, you ain't never by the. I know he was right by the phone. I know he's by the phone. I seen where the phone is in the crib. Anyway, yeah. So
baseball diving like. Boom,
yeah, it's like when they answer the phone, short of breath. What's y'all guys okay over there? Yeah, hello. Hey, we're fine. Yeah, we're fine. What's up? Yeah, nah.
Right.
Yeah. So those are the signs, y'all. It's like, but I will say that ain't all. It doesn't mean that's the last straw. It's like, oh, he took the remote from me. I'm out. Peace. Right. You don't gotta care. I don't. I'm gonna make it a noun, a verb. Don't carol them. Don't just deuces them up. No, I'm joking, Carol. I'm joking. But yeah, no, like you gotta. I think that's like the first stage. Like, okay, let me really consider this for real. Is this fixable or is it not? Yeah. It doesn't, because once you kind of like feel that way, I guess I would say that this is a good point the article makes, right? It doesn't always mean that you need to end things right away, especially if there's still love in the relationship, right? Maybe there's some stuff to work through, but there's actually still love. Like you don't have a narcissist, you have somebody who really genuinely cares for you, but they have these tendencies. Maybe there's something that can happen.
We froze up, you guys. I'm so sorry. We froze up. We froze up. We froze up. What happened to the show? Uh-oh. Can y'all hear me and see me? I think Dondeez froze up. Or did I freeze up? If you can hear me and see me, put a thumbs up or a heart or something. Okay, there you are.
Hello? All right. Man, so y'all didn't even hear my speech right now, huh?
You were like...
Yeah. I don't know what happened. That was weird. Are we back? Are we back at it? Are we back at it? Okay. Yeah, man. I don't know. Like I was gone for a minute. But basically what I was just saying is that sometimes it's just maybe we haven't put in the work.
Right.
Maybe we like let the relationship slip away a little bit. So maybe it's not time to go. Maybe it's time to just put in some work on both sides. You dig? You dig?
Right. Okay, good. Okay, Carol said yes. They can hear us. They can see us. Okay, Great. Um, gosh, I forgot that fast. I wrote something down here. Oh yeah. So like you were just saying, like it should not that should not be a reason like automatically for you to leave. And what I was watching a show yesterday. It was something, and what someone pointed out was that people are so easily, with all these divorces going on. I mean, divorce is not new. It's just like for some reason, it's like boom, 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 boom. This person's getting
Yeah,
divorced.
just
This person's
rapid
getting divorced.
fire.
But I would say these people have been together for a long time. Not to say that's a reason to get divorced, but I mean, like I'm about to say Tia and Tamira. Tia and Corey were together for 14 years. Giselle and Tom were together for a long time. These Miguel and his wife, they were together for a long time, and just for some reason, things are just not working out for them. But I want to point out that it is in that it if you get into this is like say you're not used to have an argument or a disagreement in a relationship. That was me. I didn't think I went off of what I saw on TV because I didn't really see what a real relationship looked like per se growing up. So I thought that if you got in an argument, that means that you're not compatible, the relationship is
You're ready to be
over,
done.
disagreement. And so instead of realizing that we are two individuals who think differently, we see things differently, and we're coming into this from a different background. And I wrote down that it is important for couples to experience a disagreement during their courting or their dating phase. So before you get in a relationship, please, please, please do not try to make sure that everything goes well all the time. So if your significant other, if you're dating someone and they say something to you or do something that you don't like, bring it up. Don't people please like me, or I'm working on that, or a peacekeeper instead of a peacemaker is what I talked about in the last episode.
Yeah, that was good.
So, don't try to be a peacekeeper. You can be a peacemaker, but you need to make sure that you mention it to them in a way that they can understand. Hey, what you said to me the other day really hurt my feelings. Not just I don't, you're so mean to me. It's like, tell me what I said, tell me what I did, so I can fix it. And if you tell them and they're not receptive to it, they're not trying to hear what you got to say. They don't care.
This
sorry.
guy.
Then that's when in the dating phase, okay, this person does not care about me. They only care about themselves. So I can go ahead and walk away. It's like preventative measures.
Do it early, yeah.
Before you get tied into, I wouldn't say tied in, before you
get that soul tie.
Before you get that long-term commitment with them, you want to be able to recognize that. So yes, it's okay to have a disagreement and an argument while you're courting or while you're dating before you get into that committed relationship, because you want to see. I saw this today. I think I wrote it down somewhere. I don't know what I did with it. It says you want to see somebody in all their seasons.
True.
It said, spring. Spring is a season of growth and new beginnings. Winter is a season of death. Seeing things not going out the way you want to. Fall is a season of things withering away. Things are changing in fall. And summer is like you're relaxing on a vacation. And they said that if you're always seeing that person in a summer season where everything is going great, they're having a good time, they're relaxing, we're having a good time, we're drinking some mimosa, blah, blah. You don't never see their growth. You'll never see how they react when they're changing. You never see how they act when things die away. Then you don't know them. You only know that summer season of them. You don't know all of them. So it's important for you to not run away from a disagreement or argument. Have those arguments and have those disagreements. Thank you, Sean. I was trying to see if y'all heard me while Dondeez was frozen. I
don't know what happened to me.
I was trying to see. I didn't even know y'all. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? But yeah.
Yeah. So in a relationship, if you don't like their singing, say it.
Yes.
Sean ain't gonna have no problems with the arguments part.
Right. Tell him you cannot sing. Be honest with them. I'm sorry, you can't
To
sing
be like,
through
oh,
God.
let's turn this
Right,
CD up a little bit,
right.
y'all.
Don't go to
Yeah,
Idol. Don't go to The
yeah,
Voice. That is not your calling.
yeah. And if let me ask this, what do you think is this going too far, or is this a good suggestion before breaking up, seeking professional help?
Exactly. Yes. 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 Going
So
to a
now,
counselor.
would you do? No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was saying yes. Go to a couples therapist.
Okay. Now, how serious do you think your relationship needs to be before you get to that? Because like obviously, if you're like dating somebody for a month and it's like, yeah, we're not really compatible, let's go to a
No,
therapist.
I think
I'll be like,
right,
yeah, let's just
right,
cut it off. Let's just cut.
right.
But like, yeah, when does that become a like when you think that's like a feasible a suggestion? Like, yeah,
I
okay,
think
this is.
right. I think if you're having conversations about marriage
Mm,
before the engagement, so like pre-engagement, if you're talking about marriage, I mean, like they say men know and women know. So And so
hmm
if you're both having real conversations and you're talking about marriage, you're talking about having a life together, this is and before, the engagement, that's when you need to have couples therapy. Um,
hmm
if there's a hiccup, you know, you need to have couples therapy. And they say that you shouldn't wait until there's a hiccup. You should go ahead and do it in the beginning because a therapist can point
hmm
out something that you don't see in the other person based on what you tell them. Let me tell you something. When I went to therapy, before I got there, they sent you an intake form. An intake form
Oh
is,
yeah.
your demographics, your insurance, where you live, and then also all these questions like how is your relationship with your parents? What happened
Mm-hmm.
to you, and did anything traumatic happen to you? Have you had any
Mm-hmm.
substance abuse issues? Have you ever thought about committing suicide? Have you ever hurt yourself? They ask you a lot of things. They asked me, what are your strengths? And I sat there for a
Mm-hmm.
minute. I don't know why I could not. I knew my
Come up with
strengths,
the
but I don't
strength.
yeah, because I think, like I told my therapist, I was waiting for the what are your weaknesses? Because it's easy to
Mm.
point out. It's so easy for us as humans to point out our weaknesses before we point out our strengths, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
she was like, "Yeah, that's why we don't put that question on the form because we know that your weaknesses. We
Just be
want you to
listing
think
them
about
off like,
right." She's like, "We want you to think about what's good about you, which is your strength." So I think it's important that if you're in that phase, depending on how fast you're moving,
mm-hmm.
you should go to couples therapy to see, are we asking the right questions? Because some of us aren't asking the right questions. We're stuck on the superficial. What's your favorite color? What's your favorite meal? What do you like to do? What's your hobbies? No,
Yeah.
how do you handle adversity? What would you do if you came home and I didn't cook? Like stuff like that. Like
Woo!
how would you
Woo!
approach me if you
Date
came home
one.
and one day, not date one, but you know,
In the mid
you
bite.
gotta have
Say what?
right what?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Once you get past the first date and you
Yeah.
go on a
Once you're
first date,
starting to get like, you're like, oh, is
right?
this going somewhere? This might be going somewhere.
I
Mm-hmm.
think each date should reveal something new about that person. It shouldn't be so superficial. It shouldn't be so physical.
Mm-hmm.
Something should reveal something new about that person. But again, once you get to that, oh, we're talking about marriage. I done met your folks. You done met my folks. You done met my kids. I done met your kids. We are doing this thing. We
Yeah.
need to go to
Yeah.
therapy. We need to go to couples therapy, not just because we have a problem, but because we need to check to see are we asking the right questions? Are we
Yeah.
on the right path to having a successful and healthy relationship?
And you ain't on no tears. Megan's Law. Uh, no, there's no tier anything next to your name, right? Except
Right,
top tier employee at the company. That's
right.
it, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't cook every day either, Carol. I didn't cook every day either when I was married. It was like a thing. It was like an organic thing that we both were okay with, leftovers and like Fridays and the weekend being like a day where we ate out, except for on Sundays. Either we would cook or we would go to someone else's house to cook. But yeah, I think once you know your budget, you can go, okay, we can cook these days, we can not cook these days,
You
and
do
see
what you
how that
got to
goes.
do.
Do what you got to do, yeah.
Do what you got to
What's
do,
next on
man.
that?
Okay, so let's keep going through this. Oh, a couple more questions before
Okay.
you get to the where you decided, all right, we finna do this. The break is happening. Deuces are coming up.
Right.
Um, is there a stigma to leaving? Because I really think, I mean, I know we were talking about this when we were considering doing this topic. Is there a stigma to leaving, or is it that majority? I mean, even majority of the time when people leave, you're like, oh yeah, I can see that, or is it more like, that's bad? Maybe there's different realms. Like if you're a religious person, maybe it's more stigma there
Yeah.
than
Right.
in just general society. I don't know, but what do you think in general? If you think about people that leave, is there
Hmm.
a stigma attached to them, or what's your how do you
I
how
think
do you see that?
usually it is what you're leaving for. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
the why that's
The
behind
why.
it. So usually, it's like whenever a man decides he wants to leave, it's like, oh, is it another woman? It's like it's
Mm.
automatic. Oh, it's got to be another woman. Whereas if she
That's all
leaves,
men be doing, huh?
right, it's just women. So if she leaves and it's oh, he must have did her wrong. So it still ain't nothing on her.
Well, I know. Maybe the guy was emotionally
Like it's a double
drained.
standard, right? It's a double standard. I'm sorry, it's a double standard.
No
But
Birkin.
no, I think there's a stigma. I think there's more a stigma in the church than there is a stigma in the world.
True. Yeah.
And I think in the world the stigma is why you're leaving. So like as we see celebrities, leave, or as we see people around us break up and divorce, it's always okay. If they cheated, there's a stigma. If the wife was at home, like on Wait and Exhale, she was at home doing everything for you. She supported the business for 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
She was there and you left her for
She
somebody else.
sacrificed
So
through a
I think
fur in the ocean. Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
I think the
Mm-hmm.
stigma is always attached to the why.
True.
Why you're leaving.
And
Because people are always gonna have those questions. Well, did they do everything that they were supposed to do to stay? Or I know for me, I'm always saying, girl, is he hitting you? Is he beating you? If he ain't, go to therapy first.
see about it. See about it. But
Did
and you
they
know what the
go ahead.
crazy thing about it, well, the crazy thing, yeah, no, we're gonna get into that. The
Yeah,
crazy thing about it is people really be thinking that their judgment on your relationship is better than
right,
yours.
right,
With these
exactly.
stigmas, be like, well, why'd you leave? Let me decide if I think
Mm-hmm.
it was valid that you left.
Mm-hmm.
No, no Birkin, go back to therapy. Yeah, no, no. Yeah, like exactly. You got to be truthful and admit the wrong or defend it. Yeah, man.
That's just
Sometimes.
like, yeah. Go ahead. I just thought about
No, no.
something.
I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say yeah. I was gonna say yeah. Sometimes, like the people love each other, but it's an internal thing that they both get and don't none
Right,
of us get, and it's like,
right,
nah, let them look. Just if it's your friend, you support your friend. If
right,
it's people you don't know, get it. Get on.
right.
You
Exactly.
dig?
Yeah, because you don't know what's going on in someone's house. You don't know how you don't know how people make you feel.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how this person made me feel. You don't know how that person made them feel. And so I think if someone's self-worth is important to them, they will leave. Even if the optics look so good. Oh my gosh, he is so good to her. He makes sure she does this, or they're doing this, or they're always doing this because he's such a good person to everybody else, but you don't know what the
Mm-hmm.
kind of hell that he is bringing when he comes home. or she's so nice to everybody else, but you don't know the drama that she or the kind of person she is when she's at home. Because some homes have Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde in them, and you
Oh
just
yeah, Lord.
and
Yeah,
I was
Lord.
you were just saying that I was thinking, did you watch Hung for Jesus? Now,
No, man, I need to see that. I need to see that.
look, let me tell you, if that movie didn't tell you, now it was. I don't think it should have been in theaters, but I would say
Could have went
that
straight to Netflix.
right, if that movie didn't do anything but show how women um do everything in their power to make sure that their husbands or man look good, even though if they treated them wrong, or even if they are embarrassing them in public. Because
Mm-hmm.
I said Regina King, Regina Hall played that role. She was a first lady to a
Mm-hmm.
pastor who was in a scandal, a sexual scandal, at the church, and she was doing
Ah.
everything. She was doing everything as a first lady and as a wife to make sure he's remained as a pastor and that he remained, looking good, like his optics or his reputation looked good, even though it was already tarnished because of the allegations.
What was
So she was
what
doing
was the
everything.
pastor? The real life situation. What was his name?
I
John.
No. They said the rumor, well, not the rumor, but a lot of the people who were talking about the movie, they said that you can tell it has something to do about Eddie Long.
Oh,
Rest
Eddie
his
Long.
rest in peace, Eddie Long. But I don't know the whole story behind that, and I'm not here to talk bad about him. I'm just
Right, right,
saying that
right.
from the critics who posted up on Facebook, they were saying that the movie should have been called the Eddie Long story. But it was kind of like it was it was funny as far as like who Regina Hall is. Like she is a
Mm-hmm.
very good comedic
Yeah.
actress, as well as Sterling K. Brown. He was great too, playing the pastor, and it just
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
showed you, how she her mother was telling her, "You need to stay. You need to stay." Because it was
Ah,
all about him, making sure that
yeah.
she supported him, but there was no support in her, and she was making herself like a fool. That's what Hunk for Jesus came in. He had this whole thing about they going out in the corner, hunker for Jesus, and they were dressed up, and she looked a fool, but she was being the fool for him just so he can look good. And that's what a lot of women do. They stay so that
Mm-hmm.
the husband can look good. Especially, let me tell you something, especially if you work if your husband is very important in his job,
Yeah.
he's a president of something, if he's a mayor, anything, you stay so you can look good. And it's a flip side of that too for the women. If a woman is higher up in the corporate world, or she made a name for herself, a good reputation out in the public, in the community, it looks good for the family to stay together. It doesn't look good
Mm-hmm.
for the families to break up.
Yeah.
So people stay for those reasons, and it's not because they want to stay. It's because they have decided to put their what's good for them and their self-worth and their dignity aside in order for the optics to look good for their spouse. And that is not a
That's
good thing.
that ain't a good look. And I'll tell you that as a pastor. Um, Yeah, I mean, I haven't had that situation myself. I think
Mhm.
I've not given off the vibe to any ladies that it's cool to come to me. I think I try to put the repellent out there, but man, the pressure to stay like, yeah, I remember because there was a pastor actually in my church. Um,
Uh-huh.
who was there, the times before I started working there, and had that
Okay.
situation where his wife left him, and it was tough,
Right.
for him, for the
Right.
church, yeah. So all that, yeah. But people, you got to prioritize yourself. Uh,
Yeah.
Forget the stigmas, man. Just do what you got to do. Um, Here's another good question. How long? Let's say you get to the point where you're like, all right, yep, it's time. It's
Okay.
time. How long do you wait before you, all right, we finna do this. Let's get it. You do right away, like the moment you know it. You be at work at lunchtime. I'm gonna text this boy, or like, man, I'm gonna send him
I
an
think it
email,
depends.
Instagram message. We done.
Right.
Or
I think it
or
depends on the relationship. The
mm.
the commitment of the if you're dating, there it don't take long. You just go ahead and do it. You ain't got time.
Do you tell
If
him,
you're
or do
if
you
you're
just
dating,
be out? You be like,
no,
oh
you
yeah, I'm
shouldn't
at my
ghost
mama
anybody.
house. I'm at my mom's house.
Right.
That's why all
Well,
my
usually,
stuff is not there anymore.
well, yeah. Usually, a lot of people who are dating are living together, but there are some people who are. So if you
Mm,
are, there's no, that's that. Um, I wouldn't just get up and leave unless you're in an abusive relationship, or if you feel like
right.
your well being, your life is in danger. Um, I think if you're dating and you're living in a house and together, or you're living together, I would sit down and, hey, look, we need to talk, and talk out in
Mm.
public. Don't talk at home. Go somewhere where other people can be witnesses, because
Do it in
sometimes you don't
public?
know. No, not in public. What I'm saying is that because sometimes you don't know how people are going to react.
Okay.
You know, so I think that puts you in a safe place.
Oh,
If you're like
okay.
out, not like you're in a restaurant and you're gonna like whatever, but you're still like you're at the
Yeah.
park, you're sitting
Like go
there,
to the park. Yeah, where there's people walking by.
right, like that.
Oh,
If you're
okay.
married,
Yeah, yeah,
if you're in a relationship like that, I would say like that. If you're married, I think. Well, let me go back. If you're in a
yeah.
relationship and you're really invested, I would try to go to therapy first before you dip out. Unless, like we
Oh,
said,
yeah.
you're physically harmed. But if like you said before, if you see that there is staying power and it's just something that's happening right now, for some reason y'all can't get back on the same page, and y'all both really want to work it out, then go ahead and suggest therapy. If the other person doesn't want to do therapy, then ask them, hey, well, what do you think we should do to make this work? Because the way we're going, we're going to keep going in the wrong. We're going to be going like this. We're not going to be going together. We're going to be going like this. So
Hmm.
what can we do so we can be on the same page? If they're not willing to do anything to make it work, deuces.
You gotta
Okay,
go.
we got to go. That's why it's probably very important for y'all not to live together, because in that sense, because you ain't got to wait till the
Yeah.
lease is up.
Oh,
Right.
listen,
You're all
man.
right.
You know
But
what?
if you're
So this is.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say what happened with my parents. My dad. This is why I like really respect him, man. Even though they had already decided they were gonna get divorced,
Mm-hmm.
separation, everything. They were, they was living together. But what my dad did, he actually he told my mom, he was like, I am leaving this place in 1 month. So
Mm,
you got that amount of time to figure out what you want to do, you know. And it's like, yeah, I guess that's better than just, all right, next week house going up for sale, closure,
right.
we out. You know,
Right.
that is, I guess, kind of like the responsible steps that you're taking, because like because the next phase we're talking about is the actual breakup, and it's like, okay, is there a such thing as a healthy breakup is like, yeah, if you need to break up, you got to do it, else it's all breakups could potentially be healthy or not. But I guess, is there a healthy way to go about doing it? Like, is there really a best way and a bad way to do it? So, I think those are some of the factors. Is, like, if you're considering the other person to some degree, um, that's part of going in the healthy realm. Like, I'm gonna give you some warnings. I ain't just finna just cut it off like that. Especially
Right.
if you're the power, like, we're talking about the finances. If you're the one
Right.
who kind of is the say so of the finances, right? Like, we in this house because your job pays for it,
Right.
or the car notes happen to both be under your name. So shoot, I might not have a car after this. Whatever, however that stuff goes. If you're considering the person, be like, okay, if you want this car and you got this much time to change it over to you or whatever, something like that. Um,
Right.
yeah, that's good. So they got some suggestions, but before we get to the
Okay.
suggestions, what do you
Okay.
think are like some of your top, like, okay, here's my suggestions on how to break up well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if it's possible.
If it's possible.
Yeah. Break up well. Mm-hmm.
I think breaking up well, I mean, it's like, what is that? Like I don't know. But
is that an oxymoron?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I think that if you both agree, I think that's the only way that you can break up well is if you both agree that this is not working. So it's amicable. This is not working. We both agree this is not working. Let's just go ahead and go our separate ways. I think another way is when you're breaking up with them, don't focus on, what they did to you or focus on how you feel. I did not feel safe emotionally with you. I did not feel like this. And so this is why I feel like, it would not be healthy for us to continue down this road, together. I think it's having a very adult conversation that is not about the blame game, basically. Because at this point, it doesn't matter. If you don't want to reconcile or keep the relationship, it doesn't matter what they did. It's just straight to the point. I don't want to be with you anymore. I no longer see you as someone who I want to be with for the rest of my life. That's it. Now I'm talking about as far as relationship. Now for marriages is a lot harder because y'all been in it. And so to me, I think it's good for you to be in a situation where there's a mediator. Where you're like, okay, look, this. But I think when it gets to that point, y'all both know y'all been walking around the house on eggshells. You're not coming home at the same time. You're not eating dinner together. Y'all only texting each other. You're not talking to each other. You're not sleeping with each other. You're not having sex. And if you haven't gone the extra mile to go and seek professional counseling to get help, and if you have done that and you still don't see, anything going on, then I can say bow out gracefully. I would say this: don't stay in something because you think that God's going to hate you because you're going to get a divorce. Because God does not hate you. Don't hurt the paint.
Sorry.
You. Right.
That is like my biggest pet peeve, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. God may hate divorce because he doesn't like to see the home broke up because he knows what comes with that. There's always a reason why God doesn't want us to do certain things. He knows that once the home is broken, the kids are going to have to deal with that. Or if you don't have kids, you're going to have to go through that emotional healing. He's going to have to go through that emotional healing. So that's why that is. God does not hate you as a person. Okay. So if you decide that it is in your best interest for your well-being and for your sanity to no longer be in this marriage, it is okay. It is okay. And you ask God to help you. Y'all both heal and get through this and to do your best and show you what steps to go. And there's so many emotions that happen in divorce. There's a roller coaster of emotions in a separation. You're going to be so happy one day that it's over. And then as soon as something happens, like say y'all were living together and then now the one person is moving out, it's going to be like, oh, it's really happening. Like, this is really happening. Like, oh my gosh. And now you're going to be like crying. You're going to be sad. You might get depressed. A lot of things are happening. That's why you should still seek counseling, even if you are going through this by yourself. So many different emotions. You're going to be on a roller coaster and you want to have that help because then you'll start to isolate yourself and get depressed. But say, just go about it in the right way. Be nice about all of this stuff.
Let me jump on that. Be nice, okay? Because there was in this one article this one piece of advice. I'm being like, look, this what they said. I ain't saying it. This what they said. All right. They were talking about showing sympathy, right? And this is what they said. When you're breaking up with somebody, a good suggestion is to show sympathy, right? Express your sadness at the breakup and share some good things about your time together. Say something like, you taught me so much about cooking and I'm a better cook now. Thanks for that.
I,
Bro,
you know,
I cannot
I
co-sign this.
I think it depends on who you are, because if your personality, like for me, if I said that, they're like, girl, they're gonna call me all kinds of names because they know that I have a sarcastic and witty personality. So
Oh my gosh, yeah.
me saying something like that will feel like a slap in the face. But because I wouldn't even know how to say that with a straight face. Well, you helped me, cut those vegetables up better. I'm
Yeah,
gonna take that parting gift with me.
dude.
Yeah.
I can't think of
Um,
any good. I can't think of anything if somebody's breaking up because I've broken up with somebody and I've been broken up with.
right. Uh-huh.
Now I was younger, so maybe it's kind of different, but it was
Right.
high school. It was high school and college. So when it happened, it's like I don't really want to hear basically nothing else you have to say. After you tell me you want to break up,
Right.
bye. Don't
Right.
tell me how sad you are. Like for me, I would be like, why are you telling me how sad? Why are you crying more than me? You're the one who has decided this situation is now going to
Right.
happen. And why are you expressing your sadness to me? Is that to me that almost I won't go all the way and say it's like narcissistic, but it seems like you're still thinking more about yourself than about me. It's like, all
Right.
right, like, I'm not even finna hug you and be like, oh, it's okay. I'm not finna do that. So, all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry you feel this way, I guess. But
Yeah.
yeah, let's
Yeah.
go.
That would depend on how you're breaking up, or
Hmm.
if, like you said, if because the way that feeling that you're just saying, like, I don't want you to do that means that you're the one who doesn't want for the relationship to end, and the
Yeah,
other
right,
person.
right.
So if it's not on the same, if it's not a mutual breakup and you're deciding to end it and they still want to be in it, then
Hmm.
it's gonna be like, wait, what? Hug you? What? Like, you mean, like,
Why
what?
are
Like,
you crying? Yeah.
you're about to hurt me. You're hurting me right now. What are you
It's like
doing?
you stabbing me and you're
Right,
crying because you're stabbing me and you want
right,
me to tell you it's okay while I'm the one bleeding out.
right, right,
What?
right. That was just like
Huh?
that you rung up on the breakup. She wanted Jennifer Aniston's character. She wanted him to still treat her as if they were still together when she was the one who decided she wanted to end it. And she was
Yeah.
like, how is he treating me this way? And her friend was like, well, you did want the breakup, didn't you? Like, because she was breaking up. I would say this. We didn't talk about this yet.
Hmm.
Don't threaten a breakup if you really don't want it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Ultimatum?
Don't threaten a
I'm
breakup
I'm
because,
I'm
yeah,
calling that bluff every
right,
time.
right. Because that's what
Every
happened in
time.
that movie. In the movie, she didn't really want to break up, but she felt like that was the only way for her to see that he's about to lose a good thing. And let me tell you
Mm-mm.
something. If somebody don't recognize who you are and what you bring to the table in a relationship, they're not going to recognize that as soon as you say you want to break up. Not at all. Not at all. So, I
Not
mean,
even if you walk naked in front of them their
right.
basketball game.
He was like, oh, okay. What did he do? He called up his boys and then had them come over with the strippers. I mean, it was a tick for tat. It's like, don't get childish. If you really don't want
Yeah.
to break up, don't act like you want to break up. Come to your
Don't
partner.
front.
Yeah, come to your partner with the concerns that you have for the relationship so y'all can work it out. I mean, y'all grown adults. Don't play around with somebody's feelings.
Bro, Carol is over here.
What you say? Hold on. How do you break up in person?
Invite me
Oh,
to a good. That's a good question, Carol. That
yeah,
is a good question.
yeah.
Because I had a situation. I want to know your thoughts on this too. Because I had a
Right.
situation. When I was in college, I dated a girl, and she was younger, so she didn't have access to really move around that much. So every time, so we talked a lot on the phone, but we didn't
Mhm.
see each other that much. We actually, the times that we saw each other were like when we were going to get some lunch or whatever. We had like all right, once a week, we're going to figure out how we're going to see each other.
Right.
But now, if we're at the point of breakup and you's like, I got to do it in person, and this person doesn't know this is coming, they're just expecting a dumpty dump lunch. And you're like, actually, though, put them fries down just for a second. I feel we need to end this. And I'm finna go drive you back home and drop you off. I got to do it in the car. You know, that kind of stuff. It's like, is it better to do it in person?
Right.
Yes, it still is.
I don't think you should do it over lunch or dinner. I mean, that's like what?
I was just trying to get a number 5, and you.
No.
What?
Like I said,
okay.
I think it all.
So you gotta wait. You gotta wait.
Yeah. I think it all depends on if you're both. If it's a mutual breakup, y'all both. You know, you can tell that y'all both are like not really on the same page, or if it's I've been wanting to get out of this for a long time, but you're still acting like nothing's wrong, and then you do it. It's like one of those things because, like I said, if you're not talking to each other, you can tell when it's not the same. And the other person who doesn't want to recognize it is the person who's in denial, and they're the ones who always like, "Why? I can't believe that you're gonna pull this one over on me. I can't believe you're gonna blindside me with this breakup." Like, dude, we haven't been talking. We haven't been doing nothing. Like,
I thought you was just busy. I thought you had work.
Right.
I've been texting. Like shoot, I like Daybreak's comment here. She talking about back when about being nice. She said it's like saying out. Yeah. Yeah, but the end result is still by. Yeah,
it's still by. Mm-hmm. But again,
maybe that's where you start getting into personalities too.
Those scenarios are mainly for like non-marriage. Even though we see on TV where the husband or the wife will take the other spouse out for dinner or lunch and go, I just want to let you know I've decided to go and marry my secretary, or I'm going to go ahead and be with Joe Blow over here, and I just wanted you to know that I filed divorce papers. I say don't do that. Who's
paying for this lunch? Right. You or me? Because if I'm paying, you're not leaving.
Right. I needed to go right now. Right. It's like you already know. I mean, but you don't want. I wouldn't do it like that. You've gone to therapy, or if your spouse does not want to do therapy and you've done all you can, and then you go ahead and start the separation. I know. I was thinking about that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You just stand in your truth.
Right. You stand in your truth. You stand in your truth.
We're done.
It's a very hard.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I
shouldn't make light of that.
Yeah. I want to get divorced. This is not working for me. It's not working for us. It's not working for our children. We're fighting all the time. You don't want to go to therapy, so I can't fight for this marriage for myself. So I want a divorce. Boom. Don't know how else to say it.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to be straight and blunt. Carol, I'm praying for you.
I left a voicemail. I was nice, but I didn't want it to be. Gosh, Carol.
Well, okay. I'll give you credit, even though you didn't want to do it, you still did it. Sheesh, man.
Right. Yeah.
All
right.
Let's wrap it up. I want to end on some positive, practical stuff. All right. So, all right, you broke up. This is another article, was good, and I put who it was by, Elizabeth Plumpter, I think her name is, because she's black, so I just wanted to shout her out. On verywellmind.com. The article is called, I Just Broke Up With My Ex, What to Do After a Breakup. She made a really excellent point that I want everybody to think about, either for yourself or if you got to give advice to somebody else, right? The end of a relationship can cause psychological pain and dissatisfaction with life. So
Mm-hmm.
you lose, you're losing somebody that you may have planned a future with. All those little inside jokes, all those things that you shared together, you are losing those things. You might have even lost a friend if it was something that was not having to do with the love part of the relationship.
Right.
So here are some suggestions. This is my wording to navigate those salty waters. Okay.
Okay.
One is keep your distance. Keep your distance comedy. No,
It's
like keep
tonight.
your
Come on,
distance.
caffeine.
It's tonight. It's
Caffeine.
tonight, everybody. Yeah, there you go, Kev. Free love
Free
right there.
advertisement. Oh,
Keep your distance. Don't be talking about, well, we should still hang out sometime. We should, I hope we could still be friends. No! Keep your distance because you don't want to be like stuck in that. If you're, especially like if you're balancing the emotions, like don't give yourself that time. This was one, this is how I know a black girl wrote this. Okay. She said, have honest conversations, but this is the honest conversations. If we do run into each other in public, this is how I expect our interaction to be. That's what you're talking about. Um, Talk about how you break up, how you going to tell your friends and family. Like this, is how we going to tell them. This is how it goes down. And this was my favorite. This is the tip top right here. Okay. Schedule. Set up a schedule with the ex. Be like, listen, every Tuesday, I go to Fat Burger. Don't be showing up on Tuesday when I'm trying to get my Fat Burger. Okay? You wait till Wednesday. That's your day. I'm going on Tuesday. You feel me?
right.
That was like legit part of her things, right?
Right.
But the more serious things were two serious things. Allow time for grieving. Let yourself process. You owe it to yourself to process the situation.
Yeah.
And the second one that I thought was really good, and you have actually mentioned this too, prioritize yourself, right? You've been
Yes.
spending all this time, dividing between yourself and this other individual. Now it's time to focus on you, self care,
Right.
self development, however you want to do it.
Right.
Make sure you take that time and prioritize, enjoy time with your friends and family. Like maybe because you're in a relationship, you haven't been able to do some of the, things with other people that were important in your life.
Right.
Now you got them and you got time for yourself. Let yourself heal, process all of those kind of things. I don't know if you have any um, tips or suggestions on that, but yeah, I thought those were really good tips for people to,
Right.
yeah.
Right. I think a number one thing you should do is set boundaries. That's what you was basically saying. Set
Mm,
boundaries. Set
hmm.
boundaries, especially when you're going through a divorce. You want to set boundaries. Things can't, because now there's a new normal. Things
Yeah.
can't happen the way they used to. Um, you can't. You both can't. Like I think I told a friend of mine, you need to change the locks in the house. I mean, it's just as
Oh,
simple as that. You're gonna have to change the locks in the house. Hold on, my computer's about to die. You gotta change the locks in
okay.
the house. You can't just take the keys because they can make another copy of the key and just show up, right?
Yikes.
So
Yikes.
you want to you want to set boundaries. If especially if the family is intertwined with each other.
Mm,
Don't be showing up. Don't call. I mean, it's like you can't really tell them. You can't dictate how your family wants to do things with your ex or your soon to be ex, but you can set boundaries.
yeah.
Like you were saying, this
Don't
is how
invite them
things
for
used to
over
go,
for
but now we
Thanksgiving.
need to have right. Don't do all
Yeah.
that. It's like set boundaries with your family in regards to how things should go out of respect for yourself and set
Right.
boundaries for them. It's having that conversation of boundaries. My other thing is that remember that this is, I mean, it's a cliche. This too shall pass. A
Yeah.
failure in a relationship does not mean that you are a failure. It just means that this part of
Bars.
your life did not work out the way that you had planned it, but it doesn't mean that there can't be a something. I want to say something better. In some cases, it is something better, but it doesn't mean that you cannot experience love again and a I guess better in a better relationship. I was
Yeah,
trying to say better.
it is better though, because if you were
And
suffering before, it is
right,
better. Yeah.
right. And another relationship that's going to be beneficial to you. That's why it's important to ask the questions before you end it. You know, is this person making me worse or better? You know, are they adding to my life? You know, am I overthinking this? Like you said before, if you're ending it because they made the bed wrong or they didn't, you know, don't end a relationship because of petty things, because sometimes that is just an indicator that it's something else deeper that you need to address, that you probably need to address in front of a therapist. But those are things that I think you should remember, is that whether you stay, you need to stay for the right reasons. Don't stay for money. Don't stay for sex. Um, don't stay for the kids, because you still have to live your life once the kids leave the house.
Right.
But you want to get the help that you need to get, whether it's from a therapist or a counselor or whomever. But you want to remember that you are not a failure. What was that thing your mom said today on the prayer? She said
Oh
that
yeah.
fail.
Yeah, like the acronym for fail
Right.
is first attempt in learning.
Learning. That was really
Hmm.
good.
Yeah.
Fail is first attempt in learning. We all fail
Hmm.
through in our lives. We all attempt something once. Sometimes we attempt it more than once, you know.
Yeah.
But the good
Then
thing
you
is
could say it's a
learning from
fierce attempt in learning.
right. But you want to learn the lesson as you go. You want to
Right.
keep learning. It's all about learning. If you fail and you get back in the same relationship again because you didn't learn from the last one, then you're just repeating a cycle and you didn't learn. So you want to learn from it. So I would say
Learn,
that
baby. Yeah.
learn.
Learn,
And
learn, learn.
and it doesn't mean, I would say this. It does, just because the relationship is over, it doesn't mean that person is a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It's just that you all were not right for each other.
Yeah.
That's it. You
Yeah.
didn't yeah, and you want to have peace. You want to have peace.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Have your peace. And for real, there was one verse that I saw that I thought was good to use. First Peter 5:7. It says, "Casting all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you." So,
Yes.
a one thing that, probably because these are just kind of popular
Right.
websites, they're just kind of thinking about society. That element of God is not in there, but really, that is one of the best things that you can do as you're going through this whole process. When you get to the point, yeah, everything we talked about, from the point of, I might be getting to the end of this relationship,
Right.
to the breakup, to the how am I going to be myself after this. Bring God into that whole process, because
Right.
God is the one that understands how humans work, so He's going to know how to help you navigate each of those aspects
Right.
the best ways possible. So yeah, I would say that.
Right.
I'll leave you
Right.
with that.
Exactly. Exactly. I have a quote that popped up in my head. I just made it up. So here's my quote for today. The end of something is on the way to the beginning of something new.
Mm,
So
mm,
just remember that even though this is ending, you're on the way to something new. It's the beginning of the first step in your journey onto something new that you haven't experienced before. So some things have to end in order for you to experience something new. Something
yeah.
bad has to end in order for you to experience something good. You know,
Hmm.
there's that meme that goes around on social media of God holding the really big bear behind his back, and the little
Hmm.
girl holding the small bear, and he's just wanting her to give it over to him, like, because I have something bigger for you behind me. And so sometimes we try to hold on to something that we're used to because we're afraid of what the journey is going to look like to something new and better. So
Hmm.
if what you are in, the relationship you're in right now, it's not working for you. It's not good for your peace. It's not good for your purpose. It's not good for your long term. You're gonna have to let it go and go through the healing process and go through the journey, and knowing that there's something new that's going to happen for you, and on the other side of this hill, on the other side of this mountain, that's waiting for you at the end. So there's something.
There it
There's a good
is.
treasure. There's a good treasure at the other side of that rainbow.
The good treasure.
Go for
Treasure
it.
is there.
Yes, go for it. Yes, that's absolutely right. You still can find love.
Mm-hmm.
You still can find love. And surround yourself with people who are for you, who
Who are
support
for you.
who support
Don't
you.
let them talk toxicity to you.
No, and don't let them talk negative about the other person either. Because
Get that out.
no, we don't want that. We want
Yeah.
to. If you're gonna end it right.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna stay right. Don't give into the toxicity of other people's thoughts and
Yeah.
opinions.
Get your baby D's, all the baby D's with the bricks ready to break the cars. Get them out of there. Get them out of there.
Yes,
All
yes,
right.
yes. Yeah. So thank you
All the
all
snacks.
for joining us for another episode of The Way Love Goes. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Hit that notification bell so that you can get a notification every time we go live. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at The Way Love Goes Pod. You can send us an email at thewaylovegoespod@gmail.com. And until next time, I've been your girl, Tierra Monique, and my bro.
I've been your boy, Dondeez.
And that's the way love
Goes.
Bye, you guys.
Yes, indeed. Peace. Blessings.